Welcome to the first episode of the M6P B2B Back to Books. I'm Jared, along with Darren, Scott, and John, and we're going to be taking you through some Marvel books, namely Secret Wars. So as I said, my name is Jared. I'm the co-host of this great podcast called the M6P. Darren?
I'm Darren. I'm also, I guess, the co-host. This is the first episode and everything, as Jared mentioned. Really excited to see where this goes. And I plugged lots of things on the other videos, so yeah, we'll go with those. All right, John.
Hi, I'm John. I'm glad to be on this first Back to Books episode. The books were what got me hooked up to M6P in the first place. I think there's lots of content coverage of movies and TV shows, but it's good to get back to some good old-fashioned comic books. I think that got everything started.
All right, Scott.
And I think I'm muted. Okay, here we go. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, so I'm Scott, host of Comic Book Hangover, also available here on YouTube. And yeah, great to be part of the inaugural episode of Back to Books. Pretty much you could also say back to basics as well, because like everybody else, I got started this whole thing with comic books, and you know that's my first love. I'll take the comics over the movies any day.
All right, good deal.
This first episode, we thought, what could we talk about first? Could we talk about, the first full run of Ms. Marvel? That could be great. Could we talk about Squirrel Girl? What could we possibly? Maybe the Inhumans? Eternals? We weren't quite sure.
I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
So. Darren said we should probably talk about the first big Marvel crossover. Why not? So we picked Secret Wars. Everybody got their issues or trade paperback. How did you read this?
Actually,
I got a tablet right here.
Nice. All right. Then Darren
I had to refresh on Marvel Unlimited on the desktop today. So yeah, but I do have the whole series. They're at the office. I actually stopped by and picked up number 8. That's the black suit, first appearance, of course. So I'm getting ahead of myself. All right.
Yeah. So Secret Wars was really groundbreaking, and that was the first kind of crossover with the majority of the Marvel characters. It came about because DC was looking to do their own sort of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and get all their characters together, and Marvel needed to beat them.
There we go.
So Marvel beat them with coming up with Secret Wars. And so we're going to talk, in keeping with the M6P, we're going to talk about 6 things about the Secret Wars. And the first thing we're going to discuss is the beautiful covers. Scott, is there a cover that just does it for you?
The entire run of Secret Wars, probably the one cover that stands out to me, that always stands out to me, and I'm really kind of disappointed in myself for not owning it, is issue 10. That's the one with Doom, just his armor is beaten and destroyed, his cloak is tattered, and he's like standing there just defiant. And for me, that what always gets me about that one is that always kind of, to me, sort of defines the kind of person that Doom is. I mean, you could beat him down, but he refuses to stay down, and that's one of the things I've always admired about that character. So out of all the 12 issues that run, issue 10 has always been my favorite cover out of all of them.
Love it. What about you, John?
Well, I can see Scott and I are going to see eye to eye on a lot of this series already, because yeah, for me it definitely is issue 10. I love there's a couple that stand out, since he's went into great detail about exactly what's fantastic about that 10th issue is just the beaten, battered Dr. Doom still fighting. That's why it's number 1 for me. But I also love that first issue. I love Group Shot. Mike Zeck does a great thing that's been paid homage to with the Marvel Zombies version. I've seen Alex Ross versions. It's a great cover if you see everybody else trying to copy what you did. Number 6 is really good. I believe it's number 6 where the Hulk is just lifting a mountain. I mean, that tells a story right in the cover. That might be 4, but 10 is it for me. But the Hulk cover, and then the villains. There's like a villain version of it that may be right in the middle there. So there's a lot, and I think Mike Zeck's work is best illustrated on the covers. I also think, and that's part of the reason I like 10 too, is I think he does better on a solo character than a group shot. As good as that group shot is for number 1, I think that number 10 right there, as you see Scott displaying it, when you can just get all that detail into one character, it's beautiful. It really is.
What do you think, Darren?
Yeah, so I think we did a post the other day asking people what their favorite, was it the cover or moment? I forget
Moment.
what the
Yeah,
moment.
your
Okay,
moment.
but so I mean, everybody picked out. Well, a lot of people picked out the mountain. That was mine. So obviously the mountain covers one of my favorites. And then the first appearance of the black suit, that was another big one for me. I thought it's such an iconic cover. I mean, both of them really, if you think about it. I really enjoy number 10 as well, though, for sure. That one was nuts because Doom was such, I mean, that was the Doom show. I feel like Secret Wars, it really was. With all the crossover and everything, that was great. But it was a Doom show. So that for the final cover, to just kind of, that was the final, right? Am I off on that?
12, yeah.
12?
Yeah, there's 12. Number 10.
I'm 10. All right, gotcha.
It's okay.
I read it all. They blended together because I had to refresh it today on Marvel Unlimited. So.
Yeah. I think I'm with John. Issue number 1 is just iconic. You see it everywhere, even in other media. You see it, homaged. But I just think, if I was a 10-year-old in 1984 walking, in the grocery store and I see this cover and it has all my favorite characters, that's an instant pickup. And so how could you not just love to see, like, what in the world brings the Fantastic Four and the Avengers and the X-Men all together? Oh, and then there's Spider-Man. What is this about? And it says Secret Wars. And Mattel, they made the action figures for Secret Wars. And they did some polling because Secret Wars wasn't originally going to be called Secret Wars. And they came up and they found that the polling of the word wars and secret are words that 7 to 14-year-old boys love. So Marvel's like, well, that's what we're going to call it then. So
far better than the original title for it. I mean, the original title for it was not it wasn't catchy at all.
Yeah. The whole background of how Secret Wars came to be that's like a whole nother episode. But totally. So with the covers, we knocked that one out of the park. Second one I want to talk about is new characters. There were new characters and kind of new elements that were introduced. We had some new villains. We had a new suit. Darren, I'll let you probably start this one off. What kind of stuck out to you, man?
So Doom, even before he gets all the massive power, and everything, he's just creating kind of, some villains and stuff on the side. And he decides to create 2 Karens, like Volcana and Titanium. Seriously, that's his pick. But I mean, they're actually really entertaining characters from a story point. They did add to a lot of humor, I guess, to an already crazy series that had so much going on. But yeah, I like those 2, and obviously the black suit. So yeah, that's what I got. Those 2 Karens.
John, what did you think? Did you like the Karens as well?
I did. The Titania, is she still around? She's still in Gamma Flight now, right? With her and Absorbing-Man stuck it out through all these 35 years or whatever since Secret Wars.
She actually, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. She actually is in the new She-Hulk series.
Oh, in the upcoming TV series, you mean?
The new comic book series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was in. They had this really interesting thing in there where she wants to fight She-Hulk, and they wind up talking about, where She-Hulk is like, I don't really like. Why do we always have to fight when you're breaking the law? Clearly you have, you have stress and you got anger and things you need to work out. I would like work it out, and they sort of have this conversation like, why don't we make plans to meet up in an empty parking lot and just beat the tar out of each other and just get it out of our systems? I don't always have to fight you when you're breaking the law. So, but yeah, she's in the new She-Hulk comic book series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think she's a good match for She-Hulk. I mean, and she was in this series too. Just somebody that can fight her. That's not She-Hulk beating up a guy. There's a girl that can match her up. I like Volcana. I thought she was picked on a little bit too much. I mean, I thought she looked good. I don't know, maybe it's just taste, but can't forget Julia Carpenter, Spider-Woman, who's always she actually had the black suit before the symbiote. I don't know if the symbiote copied her, or it's kind of never been really explained, right?
They allude to that a little bit, how like the symbiote or Spider-Man's subconscious kind of like, he's like, it must have been because of Spider-Woman or the symbiote picked up on that, and that's why the design or whatever. So I believe,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and everybody just came from a nice little suburb of Denver. Let's call it South Park or something. I don't know. They never name it the suburb of Denver, but that's where the Titania volcano. Because at the first issue, you're like, where did Doom find the? Then it's like 5 issues later, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a suburb of Denver over here too. We didn't know, so it was interesting. But yeah, I thought the characters were good. Most of them lasted a while. I think you only see Volcano when you see Molecule Man, right? But all the other characters have become part of the Marvel comic book history, really. So that's a good showing for one limited series.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Scott? Who was your kind of standout new character?
It would probably be the new Spider-Woman. I mean, she did kind of come out of nowhere. You know, they slowly. I mean, they had sort of that in the shadow cameo thing or whatever for her, but it was just she shows up, and I don't know. It was kind of weird because I mean, she shows up, but she doesn't really do a whole lot in the story. But it's just the idea that she's there. You know, they're going to do something more with her. You know, the whole. I'm sure there's behind the scenes reasons why she's actually in the story. But out of all of them, I mean, she's the one. To me, I think it was just the mystery, just not knowing too much about her, made her more interesting to me. Titania, I liked her. It's just she had this sort of arrogance about her, where she's like, I want to beat up the strongest guy here. I want to beat up this person. I want to beat up this person. And then, she gets into a fight with Spider-Man. Spider-Man, makes fun of her and winds up tossing her through a wall, and she loses all of her self-esteem in that one moment. It's like, you gotta, be more level there. And, I agree with John about Volcana or whatever, Volcana, I think her name was.
Yeah.
Just the whole, it was almost like the whole reason for her being in that story was for people to sort of poke fun at her supposed overweight nature. I mean, she really wasn't that big. She wasn't any bigger than anybody else in that entire story. But like Enchantress called her the girthy one or something like that at one point in the story. But
hold on, we lost you.
We lost you, Scott. Hey, Scott, we cannot hear you, man.
And just knowing that there's more for her down the road.
I think John and Darren and I completely agree with everything you just said. We lost your audio there for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
No
I've got a different sort of internet connection, so I'm not sure if that's part of the reason why or not. I mean, if it gets too bad, I could always switch and go into another room. But for the time being, as long as it's not too bad, I'll stay where I'm at because I got my comics in here.
Heck yeah.
Right.
No, I have never been a huge fan of the Spider-Man in symbiote costume. Just never did anything for me. I know it was new and revolutionary because he'd been in one outfit for the past 20, 25 years. But it was always very simple to me. But Julia Carpenter is who stuck out to me. I think Volcana has very much been a one-trick pony. Like John said, she's always with Molecule Man. That's her thing. Titania has always been the female She-Hulk villain and with Absorbing Man. So I guess she kind of got two things, whereas Volcana got one. But Julia Carpenter, like she appeared in Secret Wars. She joined the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, for goodness sake, and was working with Freedom Force for the government against the X-Men with Mystique, and then went on to become a member of the West Coast Avengers, a complete flip, and then becomes kind of like the Madam Web of the Spider-Man universe. So she's just had such a varied, drawn out like meat to her character. So I think that's why she always stuck out for me.
Right, that's a good point, Jared. I was thinking of off subject and off books, but they did announce that what's her name, Dakota Johnson, or Don Johnson's daughter from 50 Shades of Grey, is going to play Madam Web, which is terrible. But then when you mentioned that, it's like, well, maybe is she going to be playing Julia Carpenter? Hopefully. But anything from the universe, I'm not excited about. But I just thought maybe that would be a better version of Madam Web than,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
not going to play a 100-year-old lady. Hopefully, she's not a very good actress anyway. But it's probably.
we'll have
They
Scott
could
on for that episode.
you know, they could take the original Madam Web and de-age her. I mean, you know, in the MCU, Aunt May is what in college now. I mean, they keep de-aging her every time they have a new version of her. So, you know, pretty soon she's going to be in junior high. She'll be younger than Peter.
Yeah. Right.
Look what you
So
did.
kind of
John.
an interesting tie-in
You
with Madam
poked
Web,
the
like
bear.
oh sorry, like the first real quick side note with since we brought up Madam Web, but the first like Spider-Man the animated series was like the first actual animated series crossover too, and it was basically the Secret Wars, and Madam Web was the one that kind of lured or got Peter to Battle World. Is that correct?
Oh, that was so fun. I loved those episodes.
Yeah, to do with that.
Oh, all right.
That the
Yeah.
X-Men were supposed to be in that, but they couldn't fly the X-Men cast into Canada. It's not like now when we can all talk to each other from different cities. If only they had this technology in the early 90s, the X-Men would have been in that Spider-Man Secret Wars.
Yeah.
I thought they were in that. I thought they were.
Just Storm. Storm was the only one that
Storm,
because
okay.
the Storm's original voice, she was already living in LA and where Spider-Man was recorded. And the Canadian actors all played the X-Men. So they left them up there and didn't pay for them to come down. And Hulk, they wanted Hulk and She-Hulk to be in it as well. But their shows were on UPN and they couldn't get the rights for them to be in there. So we could have had an amazing animated Secret Wars, but we got what we got.
You just said UPN. That tells our age.
Right? So there are so many great things with Secret Wars. I really feel like we could do like 10 episodes on this. But if you had to narrow it down, there were so many wars in Secret Wars. What was your favorite battle and why? And we'll start that one out with Scott.
For me, it would probably have to be the fight between Spider-Man and the X-Men. It was very short. It was maybe 4 to 6 panels worth of story, but it was interesting because it got me to think. It's like, is this really the first time that, you know, Spidey has ever faced off against any of the X-Men? Because they almost didn't know how to react to him. You know, as like he was jumping around, he was flinging his web, and they had no idea what they were doing. They even made a comment. As either Cyclops or Wolverine made a comment about how basically they had their butt handed them all by Spider-Man. You know, this one little punk kid comes in and just takes them all on, and you know, because the whole situation was they were getting ready to join Magneto. They didn't want to tell the Avengers about it. Spidey was there and he overheard it, and he was going to tell Captain America about it. And instead of just going and doing it, he decided to make this big situation out of it. Gets into a fight with the X-Men and winds up getting his mind messed with by Professor X. But just the fight, like I said, it was really, really cool because it was almost like the first time that these characters have gotten together, which pretty much was one of the bigger draws of the entire Secret Wars. So all these characters, you know, kind of interacting for the first time, but seeing, you know, Spider-Man take on the entirety of the then X-Men team and handing their butts to him collectively was just amusing. It was very entertaining for me to see, and I really kind of hope that fight was a little bit better, a little bit longer rather. I mean, it was really good for what it was, but could have been longer. But yeah, that was my favorite fight out of the entire 12-issue run. I went back and looked at that a couple of times actually because I enjoyed it so much.
You just like the X-Men getting picked on.
Not always, but usually, yeah.
Yeah, usually. How about you, Darren? What fight stood out to you?
Yeah, that was definitely one of them too. And to your point, in one of the panels, I believe Storm's talking about. She mentioned how if she was outside, she would be able to like totally get in the open, take down Spider-Man. But all these like pipes and everything else around are just making it she can't zap them and things. And the other X-Men all were saying similar things. So it was just Yeah, that first encounter that with them in that fight, that was pretty cool. I loved towards the end when they're all running up the mountain and Galactus and trying to get him, and that was a great one. And then of course, you know, when Doom's subconscious starts bringing them back and he can't stop it, and Captain America is fighting him. That was great. I love that. So yeah, I have 3 battles, I guess, but those are the 3 that really stuck out to me. There were so many battles, and it's hard to keep track of them all.
Right. I mean, you can definitely tell this was made with toys in mind from a toy company to make like vehicles and figures. And I want your biggest characters and just figure out a way that they can fight every issue. And they're like, all right, well, here we go. What about you, John?
Right. Yeah. No, there were a lot of great battles, and specifically toyetic, I believe is the word that was made. Make this more toyetic so you can make. But to me, going back to how we talked about that cover of number 10 and that whole battle with Dr. Doom. First, he goes up and he steals Galactus's power before Galactus, who's been resorted to eating his own ship because they stopped him from eating the queen. And then Doom's like, nope, stole it. I'm going to go get Beyonder with it. Steals Galactus' power, goes, and the Beyonder beat him. He had him beat, and he was just kind of curious, like, what is this guy? And he's dissecting him. And somehow, and they don't really explain it, but you just know it's Doom's will, and Doom's going to do what Doom's going to do. And he just won. And you just beat him. And that's, I mean, Doom being my favorite villain, that's something that I enjoyed. This is one of the first times when like Scott said, I think earlier, that this whole series ends up being the Doom show, the second half of it, at least. And that's the first time everybody gets together. You see what, I was going to say a bad word, what a great character, instead of a BA, Dr. Doom could be. And he came out on top better than everybody put together, and even the Beyonder and Galactus. So that's, for me, that's the best battle of this series. Either that or I think it was Hawkeye and Claw were playing patty cake when everybody was fighting. That's a close second.
But who won that? Who won patty cake?
Mystery. I think that's revealed in Secret War.
I feel like we need a 4-issue retcon to let us know who won, and then maybe there could be a Disney Plus show or something that we could get
probably
Scott to watch.
a spin-off in Secret War from 2015. That was one of those many parts of that world. It's just a patty cake that world.
They can just do a what if episode for it.
There we go. I think I liked all those big battles, but I think I liked some of the smaller things, like with Wasp and Magneto when they had their battle and he captures her, and then they have their whatever they were doing. Just because I think it's just 2 polar opposite characters that I wouldn't ever think to put together to interact with each other. Why would Wasp and Magneto ever need to see each other? Well, here you go. And so I think I kind of like those rando characters meeting each other. And then I liked when She-Hulk broke into the villain's base and they just beat the tar out of her. Not because I don't like She-Hulk, but it was just kind of she's going for it. She's going to do whatever she needs to do. All her cards are on the table. She has no chance with these guys and ladies, but she just went for it. And I mean, they definitely decimated her, but I just thought that was a pretty cool battle. So,
and to your point on that She-Hulk one, there's a panel there. You see, the wrecking crew and everybody that's just pounding on her, and they're just looking down on her, and it's just gives you this sense of like,
Anticipation.
yeah, Scott, keep freezing on us.
If you can hear us, you're frozen.
Okay, so we're gonna we'll go on though, and we're gonna combine number 5 and 6 together. So the 5th point we want to say. Sorry, Scott, you froze up, man. We didn't get to hear what you had said. I'm sorry, bro.
Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can do something here.
Okay, we're gonna keep it going. So we're gonna combine 5 and 6 together. So the 5th question is, how do you feel like this crossover impacted future Marvel crossovers? And then give me a rating on 1 to 10, how you would rate Secret Wars. And John, you can kick this off.
All right. Well, obviously it was a great success for the company, and it got people to read other books. And so I think almost every year since then, or every other year, they, I think the next step was Secret Wars 2, another crossover, and that went into all of the individual books. And then you had after that, I think you pretty much had the crossovers were in the annuals with Atlantis attacks and things like that. Those were more the crossovers, but now we're getting a crossover at least once a year, if not more than that. And to the point that it's overdone, it takes away how special this was, because it was the first time it was done. And if it's, like you said, if you're looking and you see all these characters together, you're like, wow, why is this happening? Now it happens all the time but so, like anything, any great idea can be beat into the ground. And sadly that kind of happened, but this was a great idea, and it wasn't flawless execution. What I think is interesting is I also went back and read, or at least skimmed through most of the issues that came out the same month. But if you read it, they all came out when Secret Wars #1 came out. That's when Amazing Spider-Man 252 came out. So here he is in the black costume, but you don't know why. You have to go and get the crossover to figure it out. And now all of a sudden She-Hulk's on the Fantastic Four, but that didn't happen until the 12th issue of the Secret Wars. So that was kind of probably confusing for readers, and maybe it didn't pan out when you read it, because it looked like some things were jammed in at the end, like Lockheed's friend was like Lockheed was at the issue 1, and then you didn't see him again till issue 12, and he had a friend, and then the next issue of X-Men, there's this giant dragon attacking, Tokyo. But yeah, so overall, this, judged only by itself and as a self-contained story, 12 issues, I'm probably going to give it an 8 out of 10. It was good. The art, the covers were amazing. The interior art wasn't as good. There was a couple of, I think there was 2 issues that weren't Mike Zeck, but even Mike Zeck, as great as he is, and I know he's very talented, one of my favorite cover guys, besides the 4 cover issues that we all loved here, he also did like the Wolverine, first Captain America. He had like a Deathlock and Captain. You can look through Mike Zeck covers, all the stuff with the Craven, fantastic. But the art wasn't always top notch compared to what we're used to seeing now. And the story, sometimes the characters, like we said, are a little bit more one-dimensional. What I did like was particularly the X-Men, how Magneto came. That's something. Magneto came with the heroes, because when the Beyonder looked at him, he's like, no, his intentions are good. And Professor X was actually more of a jerk here than in most comics. So he kind of had a reversal. So overall, yeah, there was a lot of good, a lot of characters to fit in over 12 issues, having battles in each one. I'd say definitely an 8 out of 10. It stands up over time, but you can see that there was improvements to be made, which, the Marvel universe eventually did, but where to go. That's just it's an 8 out of 10 for me.
8 out of 10. Okay. How about you, Scott? Mr. Comic Book Hangover.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, there's really not much more I could add that John hasn't already said. I mean, there were things about it that were very much a product of its time. At that time, Marvel was really into this whole real world problems and our heroes. So there's a lot of love triangles and a lot of this nonsense going on, fat shaming, I guess you could say, of Volcana. But it had some stellar moments, some moments that we remember, had some great covers that we all know, we all love nowadays. It did set the standard for the crossover event. I know a few years before that, they did the Contest of Champions, which is just a 2-issue miniseries. Didn't have any crossover real effect to it. Secret Wars was the first like actual crossover event. And yeah, it set the standard where you get all these characters together and they do something that may or may not have long-lasting effects. I mean, I'm not really sure outside of the introduction of a few characters and the symbiote, there's not a whole lot of long-lasting effects of the Secret Wars that I can think of. But it isn't without fault. I mean, there are some things, the art, some of the points, the stories, but it really had some wonderfully epic moments, some great character development moments, like I said at the beginning, Doom. I mean, this really, for me, established Doom as, not to sound cheesy or anything, kind of makes him the Stone Cold Steve Austin of the Marvel universe, where he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it, he doesn't care, who gets in his way or who gets hurt. But I'd say as far as the rating goes, maybe like 7, 8 out of 10. Great. The art was a little shaky, the story was a little shaky, but the moments that really made it worth reading and rereading again. So I'd say about maybe 7.5 out of 10.
7.5. All right, Darren, what about you, man?
Yeah, so I guess like the thing for me, well, first off, it's cool to see all the characters come together, obviously. I thought it was interesting, the like not necessarily the main villains they picked to come together, but some of the other smaller sub villains and everything. That was just interesting choices and everything. The art, the backgrounds really just were wild and off the wall for me. Like, I don't know if they were just trying to be crazy or if it was like an act, but I just really enjoyed the backgrounds because like the backgrounds were so subtle kind of in a way that it made the characters, the art of the characters pop out more. As far as the ranking goes, oh, and yeah, I loved it. Yeah, like I said, because of the Doom. The ranking, I'd probably have to go right around 8 too. So I feel like we're all pretty close in the same range. I mean, this set the tone for crossovers, apparently. There's certainly been ones that are better than this one. But yeah, just for that fact, I'll give it an 8.
So yeah, Darren, totally agree, man. Everything you said. I think I would probably, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. Around like between a 7 and an 8 is what I would give it as well. Because it was definitely revolutionary for its time, and there was some great matchups and things. I felt like a lot of the characters didn't act like themselves in many ways, especially like you had said, Professor Xavier. Like, what the heck? But then now you look at his character today and you're like, oh, wow, he really is just a terrible person, like the worst person ever, at everything he does.
He's only bad when he walks, it seems like. Like if he's got his legs, he's a jerk. But when he's in that chair, he's like, you know what? I'm a little humble. I'm humble.
Oh, when you're in the chair, all anybody needs to do is just knock him over, and he's out of the conversation.
Yeah.
But I think the Secret Wars was wonderful for its time, and it was a lot of fun to go back and reread. Unfortunately, because it was so successful, I think it has set that precedence for the past 30 years, almost 40 years, that we need to have a crossover, guys. We know that they make money. And like John had said, well, now if we do them twice a year, we'll make even more money. It doesn't matter if the characters don't act like themselves, and if we have to shoehorn these ridiculous ideas because the characters haven't had time to regroup since they just got out of this crossover to go into this next one. And let's have, and this is probably a whole nother episode too, but let's move to the heroes all fighting each other every other crossover as well. So unfortunately, because of that success, it's very, Secret Wars is very much like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It was awesome when Regis was doing it once a week in prime time, and everybody would tune in and the lights would go down. It was super exciting. And then they're like, well, let's do it twice a week. And they did it twice a week. Well, let's syndicate it, in the evenings. Let's get a new host. And it's not special anymore, So Marvel crossovers many times just aren't special. But yeah, Secret Wars was just so much, it was just fun. It just made me think, I felt like a kid again, just seeing my favorite heroes and villains just beating the tar out of each other, and you got a giant Dr. Doom, and it was fun. It was a really good, fun book.
And the dialogue, that wouldn't fly in today's comics, so.
There is one moment in there that I think really stands out, especially in today's climate of, this need for more representation or whatever they call it in comic books. There's a moment in there after one of the fights. I think it's actually after they get out from underneath the mountain, and Reed Richards is repairing Iron Man's suit of armor. And up until this point, we didn't know actually who was in the suit of armor, except he was kind of acting a little different. We find out at that moment that it was Rhodey. It was Rhodes that was inside the armor, because Reed has his arm, the arm from his suit, and you see Rhodes' arm. And he says something like, were you surprised to see a black man, in this Iron Man outfit? And Reed Richards doesn't, he's just looking at what he's doing. He says, no, I never gave it a thought. I knew there was a man in there, and that was it. It's like, so you look in the way things are now, it's like, we covered that. It's like, it doesn't matter, what, who is who and what is what. It's like, you're doing your job and you're being a good person. That's all we care about at this point in time. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It was just it was almost like a throwaway thing. It's like, yeah, oh, by the way, Iron Man, there's a black dude in the Iron Man suit. Okay, let's he's helping us. So who really cares? It's almost like there's more issue with the mutants, with the X-Men, always throw in there, oh, you human characters, you don't like us because we're mutants, because we're different. It's like, well, you're kind of being jerks about it. So yeah. It was, I just thought that was kind of a neat little moment in that book. It was just kind of, say, yeah, we don't care, which in general, comic fans, we've never really cared about that sort of stuff. Just give us great character, great stories, great art. That's all we care about. That's all that matters.
Right. If you look at this is 35 years old, and Storm's the leader of the X-Men, Wasp's the leader of the Avengers, all of these things that, like, everybody's fine. That's cool. I know certain people on this panel that think Storm's the greatest leader of any group ever, but some people disagree with that, including the people on that would pick Captain America. Just don't make it obvious, and just make it flow with the story, and everybody enjoys it, Yeah. So yeah, but it's been going on for a long time. You're right, Scott.
Very well said, both of you. And with that, we're going to do some Secret Wars trivia.
Oh.
All right, so we've got a special edition of trivia tonight. We've got 31 questions all about Secret Wars, and we're going to see if these three can answer them correctly. So, guys, you're going to keep your own points. You get 1 point per question, and whoever has the most points at the end of the 31 questions, they win. Cool beans. All right. So the first question is, the first line of the series, "Oh My Stars," is spoken by who? Who says, "Oh my star"? Scott.
I want to guess Captain America.
Ooh, no. Anybody else? Are we good? Captain Marvel. Photon. Monica Rambeau says it.
Half a point.
I guess that.
All right. This character was typically associated as a villain, but was grouped with the heroes when brought to Battle World. John. Magneto, yes. Brought to Battle World by the Beyonder. So some are easy and some are hard. All right. Which of the following characters was not left behind on Earth during Secret Wars? Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Hawkeye, Kitty Pryde. Darren.
Okay.
Hawkeye. All right. The 6 square mile chunk of Earth that's brought to Battle World is a suburb of what? John?
Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado. All right. This character said, "Those pig stickers may scare the barroom bullies, but to me, you're a joke." John.
You say Scott?
I said John.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm guessing Spider-Man.
It was Spider-Man the Wolverine. Those pig stickers. It's become his trademark line.
That was a good line. Yeah, that was yeah.
Okay, what character had his arm sliced off by Wolverine? John.
Absorbing Man.
Absorbing Man. Scott, you might be raising your hand, but your camera's frozen right now, so I just see you smiling. There we go. Now I see.
A lovely smile it is.
It is. Gorgeous. All right. Mike Zeck penciled 10 of 12 issues. Who penciled issues 4 and 5? John.
I think it was Layton, Bob Layton.
It was Bob Layton. Wow, man. You cleaning.
Yeah.
Doom is gonna doom, and Coglin's gonna Coglin. All right. 4 characters made their first appearance in Secret Wars. Name them. John.
Spider-Woman 2, Titania, Volcana, and the symbiote, or Saji. How about 5?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Saji would count, but no.
You were
You
going
got,
for?
you got 3 of them. There's one other character that made their first appearance in the Secret Wars.
The Beyonder.
Oh,
Beyonder. The Beyonder.
Scott and I are both like,
Yeah, you get that, John. You get that. If they would have raised their hand with Beyonder, I would have given it to them. But you got it.
You would have given them 1/4 and me the other 3/4, you mean? No.
No, maybe.
When you read in the stories, like the Beyonder is almost like the whole reason for it to be the story. But as we said before, it becomes Doom's story partway through, and the Beyonder is just sort of an afterthought in his whole in the event that he created.
Yeah.
The Beyonder is just the power, and then when Doom takes it, it becomes something, a character. Yeah.
Everyone's a pawn for Doom.
He was just getting ready for the Moon Girl animated series. That was for you, Scott. All right. Question number 9. This was a hard one. Molecule Man made his first appearance in what Marvel title? 1 extra point if you have the issue number. Darren?
Fantastic Four.
Yes. So there's
I don't
one
have the issue number. I don't. Wait, I actually probably know this in the back of my mind once I hear it, but I can't spit it out right now.
Anybody got the issue number?
Between 1 and 50.
Ooh, very good.
44.
20.
Ash.
20.
Look at you. Oh, all right.
Right. Wasp found herself cuddling up with this character before escaping Darren.
Magneto.
Huh?
Magneto.
Yeah. Before escaping his custody. All right. These 2 characters fell in love almost at first sight with one another. Scott.
Volcana and Molecule Man.
Yes, sir. All right. Now, the Beyonder temporarily possessed 3 different characters. Can you name them? Scott.
Hulk, Spider-Woman, and Claw.
Whoa, yes, sir. Very good. I thought that was a hard one. Good job. All right, so after Secret Wars, when Spider-Man returned to Earth, who did he return to see with him? Like, who was there with him when he returned? Kurt Connors, the Lizard.
Okay.
All right, most of the heroes returned to Central Park when transported back to Earth, but where were the X-Men transported? John.
Japan, Tokyo.
Japan. Very good. Japan. Oh, what? Okay, so what character was actually dead in 616 continuity when this character appeared during the Secret Wars? John.
I think it was Doom. Dr. Doom.
He was dead, but Mattel said, put him in the series.
And take off his cape and give him a weird thing on his leg, and then make a figure like.
I think I have that figure too. The actual Secret Wars. Was it Doom? Yeah, I think I have that one.
Who gives Titania and Volcana their powers? Darren.
Doom.
Doom. So Doom is kind of like the answer when we usually play regular trivia. The answer is always X-Force, but for this, it's Doom.
Doom's always the answer.
Right, John?
It is correct.
All right. Who was in the Iron Man armor during Secret Wars? Oh, I think everybody.
Oh,
Who was it? Darren, were you first?
I think so. I don't know.
Darren, go
it's up to you guys. Rhodey.
Go for it. Who was in it?
Rhodey.
Rhodey. Very good. All right. What character stayed behind on Battle World after Secret Wars? Scott.
Ben Grimm, the Thing.
Very good. Yes, sir. All right. Secret Wars was originally asked to be made by who or what? John.
Mattel.
Mattel. Okay, what character not created until the 90s was revealed in 2015 that this character also appeared in Secret Wars? Scott.
Deadpool.
Deadpool. Why is Invisible Girl not chosen to go to Battle World? John.
Because she's pregnant.
She's pregnant. Very good. All right. This character was kidnapped while on honeymoon. Scott.
Cyclops.
You gave him the answer when you said his name.
Ultron seemingly kills 2 characters in issue 4. Name them. Bueller? Nobody? All right. John?
I know one of them's Kang. Is the other the Wasp? Is that
Thor.
what she?
Thor. Thor and
Okay.
Kang.
Oh, that's yeah.
The healer and love of Colossus and Johnny Storm is named Darren.
Zaji.
Daji. Darren, isn't that what you were going to originally name your daughter, and then you changed your mind at the last minute?
I don't want to tell her that. She'd probably like that more than her real name. So.
All right. Which villain was not originally transported with the other villains in Secret Wars, but appears on Battle World anyways? John.
Claw.
Claw. He was in Galactus' ship after his battle with Dazzler. What hero defeats every member of the Wrecking Crew all by themselves? John.
I think She-Hulk did, right?
Oh, yep.
Before.
All right. So now these are going to be, some of these questions are Secret Wars related, but not necessarily to the book. Okay. So an original piece, you'll get my drift. An original page of the Secret Wars showing Spider-Man wearing the black suit for the first time was sold by Heritage Auctions last month for how much? John.
$3.8 million.
That is crazy.
Yes.
1 page.
It's not even the best page of the series, let alone all the monster art, and I don't get it. And Mike Zeck said he got not a penny of it. Poor guy.
Of course not. Comic book artists don't get paid.
No.
All right. Name 6 of the 9 characters that comprise the heroes side when Secret Wars was adapted for Spider-Man the Animated Series. 6 of those 9 characters we talked about earlier. John?
Spider-Man. I think I'm going to say Mr. Fantastic, The Thing, Johnny Storm, because we talked about her, and I'll say Invisible Woman.
Correct. She was a part of it. The others were Black Cat, Captain America, and Iron Man. And I would have taken Lizard because he switched sides during the animated series. So, all right.
Iron Man was the one I wasn't sure on for sure, but yeah.
Mattel released 3 series of action figures based on Secret Wars, but 7 of those figures never even appeared in the comic book. Can you name 4 of those 7 characters?
All right.
Toys is a little out of my jurisdiction.
It's a tough one. All right. So the 7.
Never mind.
What?
I know it was Daredevil because I had that one. Electro, did he get one?
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I don't know.
I can't remember his name. The Marvel's version of he was in the Marvel's Heroes TV show, the cyborg looking guy. Oh man. What?
Deathlock? No.
I think I had one of him. Maybe I'm way off. All right, never mind. Continue.
Okay. The 7 characters are Baron Zemo, Daredevil, Falcon, Hobgoblin, Constrictor, Electro, and Iceman.
Wow.
Some of them were released internationally. I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some of them were international. Half of them were. Who wrote Secret Wars? John.
Jim Shooter.
Jim Shooter. All right. Question 31. This character was featured on promo materials, but didn't end up being a part of the cast of Secret Wars. So this character was on the original cover for #1 and then disappeared. Darren?
Daredevil?
No. John and Scott want to take a guess?
I'll guess Doctor Strange.
Good guess, but no.
It's got to be somebody like off the.
I'll guess Invisible Woman, but I don't really know it.
Kitty
Corvish
Pryde.
Man.
Kitty Pryde.
Oh,
Shadowcat. Kitty
Oh,
Pryde.
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But wait, they didn't bring her, but they brought her dinosaur. By the way, what happened to that? I might have missed her, like her little dragon thing.
Lockheed.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Lockheed's still around.
Lockheed.
He's still in the books today.
I know that, yeah.
But Kitty Pryde, she originally was going to be in it, but Jim Shooter thought that the relationship between Colossus and a young teenage Shadowcat was just weird, and he wanted to break them up. So he thought by having Colossus have feelings for Zaji while Kitty Pryde was still at home would break that up, and then Chris Claremont could just pick up the pieces. Nice guy.
I remember because what I received from the M6P's Marvelous box was one Essential X-Men. I think it basically starts with that Tokyo issue, and then it's just Colossus talking about. So I was interested in going back and reading like why he was breaking up with Kitty Pryde. But right, it wasn't Claremont's idea. But I think Shooter was the editor in chief. I don't know if he was at that time, but he was shortly after. So,
Yeah.
But he said he's like the Doom, on the outside.
No,
So-
and like I actually meant what happened to Lockheed in the comic, because like Colossus is even more devastated, like when he's like, "Oh, I lost that," or Lockheed and everything. Like I don't remember. Does Lockheed show back? Like
Just kind of disappears after the first battle and doesn't
Yeah.
show up until the end with another little green dragon.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So
They
see,
mentioned
guys, I'm gonna go
Guys, but nobody-
womanize him.
Yeah, and that's the issue. They come back that his girlfriend or whatever that dragon is can't adapt to Earth like Lockheed and gets big and destroys Tokyo like Godzilla.
So Scott, how many points did you end with?
Oh, about like 2.
You had more than 2. Did you not keep track?
Not really. I was just enjoying the questions.
Okay, that's fine. Darren, do you know how many you ended with?
Yeah, it looks. I believe I have 7, and I think John cleaned house.
Yeah.
For the
At that point, I was like, why keep track of points? I'm not winning, so they're not important.
yeah.
I counted 15. But
15. All right. Well, congratulations, John.
finally,
Yeah.
vindication.
Doing back there.
My
He's excited
3-point
for you.
Energy on those old cards because that's what everybody does. So you heard the most 3-point answers. I've read them.
The first winner of M6P, back to books.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. Well, like Darren just said, we are the M6P. We're a podcast. We're a YouTube show. We're on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, you name it. We're probably there. Just do a search for the M6P. You can also check us out, like John had said, on the marvelousbox.com. For $25 every quarter, you get a box of over $100 worth of Marvel graphic novels delivered to your front door, your back door, or your P.O. box, whatever works for you. They're all brand new. Nothing is used. It's a lot of fun to put them together as well. You can also check out our clothing on TeePublic. Just do a search for the M6P. We have a brand new Secret Wars shirt dropping with this episode, so you want to check that out. I love it. I think I did a good job on that one, so I'm excited. Darren has his on. I've got mine on as well. And then Cyclops. And then Scott,
Yeah.
you wanna drop some stuff for you?
Well, my main presence on YouTube is my channel Comic Book Hangover. It's just me talking about the comic books that I have in my collection. So every week I do a quick review, a quick weekly haul video where I talk about the books that I pick up each week. I've done videos where I've gone through the full runs of books that I have in my collection, and just kind of talk about the stuff that I have, little memories that I have, little anecdotes, that sort of thing. But yeah, Comic Book Hangover on YouTube. I also have Comic Book Hangover on Instagram, where it's just mostly pictures of my comic books. And that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. We will have all the links for all the things down below in the YouTube description, as well If you know of a house for sale in northwestern Indiana, help out John. He's looking. We appreciate it. And until next time, make yours the M6P.